All right, everybody. Now, as promised, on the phone with me here, I've got the one and only Eric Grondahl. How are you today, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. So, I want to talk some things with you. I have a source that told me a couple things to ask you, so I'm gonna definitely do that. But we'll start with like the first reason I got you on the phone here. Alias Gear is coming back, and I want to hear all about it and where I can buy it and everything in between because I'm super pumped.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to be able to bring the gear back. It's available now on aliasmx.com, so head on over there, check us out. We got 5 new kits and also some road cycling apparel up there as well. And check it out. Let us know what you guys think. It's been developed for about the last 8 or 9 months. I've been working on this, and just finally got it to a point where I felt like it was ready to bring to to the consumer, bring to the public. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with the product, and I think you guys will be too.
Now, is this is different manufactured stuff because you did some limited releases last year or the year before? Sorry, everything's blending together here.
Yeah, it was the end of 2022 into 2023.
Okay.
I did some made in the U.S. stuff through Lucid.
Okay.
And just kind of, it was all made to order. And like the cool thing about that was I could sublimate everyone's name and number into the jersey.
I do enjoy that.
The bad part was you had to wait like 6 to 7-ish weeks to get your gear, and not a lot of people were stoked on that. So I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and figure out how I'm really gonna do this to make it similar to what it was before.
Yeah. No, I'm liking these. I'm looking at it right now. I'm liking these gear colors. That high vis yellow and red and black stuff is screaming my name. So I'm gonna have to give me a set of that. I actually have. I still got that orange set from one of those releases you did, and I have literally not rode enough that like I haven't even worn it yet, to be honest with you. Like I put it on when I got it, and I was like, oh man, this is cool, like fits good, and you even hooked me up swapping some pants out there. What did I ever send those other pants back to you, or am I an asshole?
I have no idea, to be honest.
I don't know either.
Probably 2 years
Dude,
ago.
I know. I'm a fucking terrible person.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I'm a fucking terrible person. But I put it on. I liked the way everything fit, especially once you got me the little bigger pants because I got a little fat in my old age. But I literally haven't even worn it. But I am going to have to get some of this because fun fact, some of the gear that I do wear when I ride is I have some old original pink and blue gear, pink, blue, and purple. From back in the Geico days, actually.
Yep.
That I still wear. That's how little I ride. Is that stuff's still in great shape, and I still wear it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm pumped to try this out now, and hopefully we can do some we'll do some advertising here for you with this because I mean, Alias was just always my favorite. Like the colorways were cool. I was a Geico Honda guy, so like the fact that they wore it, and then you guys would always have these killer sales, which is something I miss in the industry, is these killer sidewalk sales, clearance sales, whatever, where you just basically fire sale the old stuff that you didn't need anymore. And like I picked up a ton of stuff when you guys did that too.
Yeah. I mean, as a consumer, it's great.
Yes.
As a business,
I know.
Not great, because we figured out by the end of that, we were literally giving away, it was like somewhere around like $20 in every box. We were just giving money away.
Okay, well
every single time.
Let's fire sale it at break-even rates this time then, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, that's something that I've really focused on, is just being able to price this stuff as fairly as possible. Mm-hmm. To where I can afford to do rider support, but also I don't want to feel like I'm, gouging or money grabbing at the customers that are paying retail that, are just your average weekend warriors or whoever they may be.
Yep.
I wanted it to be as fair as possible for everyone, with being in mind that it is a business. I do need to survive.
Yep.
That's the goal this time around, because last time it didn't work. So,
well, I'm sure in my experience, we gain knowledge every single year, business-wise, with things. So I'm sure that your knowledge here is a lot better than it was the first time around. So that's cool. And you got this.
Yeah, it is for sure.
You got the cycling stuff here. Now I see a Troll Training branded one. Are we? We teamed up with them?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we did a collab with Troll Training. John and Alex have been great to work with. John, actually, he coaches me for cycling.
Oh, no shit.
And so we decided to do that, and we sold quite a few right off the bat. So I think there's only a couple left. So I'm
That's
pretty
awesome
happy with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, I face to face met John this weekend. I met him on a podcast with I did Johnny Hopper's podcast with him a few weeks ago. And then I was like, oh man, you're gonna be at Redbud, sweet. And then I ended up running into him at the end of the day and talking to him. Super nice dude. Super duper nice dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He laughed really hard at me during the show because I told him about how I used to run marathons, and he didn't believe me at first. And then we came back around to the stories of me running marathons again, and then all of a sudden it clicked for him of like, oh, you really used to do that. I was like, yeah, I'm not just a fat old guy. Like, we used to put some miles down, bro. So
hey, kudos to you, because I am a terrible runner.
Well, I'm not going to say I was a great runner. I'm going to say that I did it. And not like some of the. I just, man, let's just be honest here, okay? I did Disney World marathons, okay? So that was just my excuse to go on vacation most of the time. But I would do all of them. Like, literally, if there was a race to sign up for on that weekend for Disney, I did all of them. So I did a lot of miles. And
That's nuts.
I ran pretty good 5Ks. I did one. A
5K I can do. I can do a 5K.
Those are not bad.
Over that, I'm out.
So the best 5K I ever did, I ran one at the Disneyland park there out in California, right? And I finished, I don't know, must have been like top 10. And the only people around me were the kids who were like collegiate runners from USC. And I was like, well, that's pretty good. Like,
oh hell yeah, that's awesome.
for a fat kid, I'm just up here cruising, I guess. So yeah. So outside of that, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we were not breaking. I was trying to come like off the couch my last couple, literally like off the couch, and do like a half marathon in an hour and 45 minutes. Never worked, but I was trying. So that was interesting. But
yeah, I did a half marathon once just by myself. Just got up and was like, I'm going to do a half marathon today.
Just walked out the front door and did it?
Yeah, literally. I just wanted to see if I could do it, because I kind of lost my, my cycling fire for a bit. And it was when I had just moved down south in Florida. So it was a bit sketchy with the cars and stuff. So I started like running a little bit, and hadn't gone anything over 4 miles, and then I was just like, screw it, I'm gonna try and do it just to see if I can do it. And I ended up doing, I think I did it right at like a 9:40 pace or something like that.
Nice.
So it wasn't terrible, but I was just like, I finished that and I couldn't walk for like, I swear to God, I couldn't walk for a week. I was like, that was the worst idea I've ever had. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you haven't done them like that much running before, it can get really sketchy. I had one marathon. I got caught in the rain like 15 miles in, and I ended up callousing or blistering and peeling every single one of my toes. On both feet. Oh my
God, that sounds awful.
Dude, it was. And that was in Florida at Disney World, and I was still on vacation for like another 5 days. So like I literally that afternoon like peeled every toe, like literally toenail all the way around to toenail, skin off, and then like hobbled around on my heels the rest of that day, and then like the next day was just terrible, absolutely terrible. But there was nothing you could do. It it was a normal stupid midday Florida rainstorm.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got 10 miles to go. I'm just like, well, we're just in it. It's not like I planned to carry extra socks or had an extra pair of shoes around my neck. I was just like, well, here we are. We're just wet now. This is fun. And that was the last marathon I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that half marathon was the last time I ran.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, but you went crazy yesterday. You did a 115-mile bike ride yesterday, right?
Yep. Yeah, that to me, I'll do that every week before I ever run a half marathon again. I
don't know about all that.
7 hours on the bicycle, I'll take that any day.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Running.
Sounds fucking terrible. Like, I cycle a little bit, but like, dude, if I do 30 miles, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, that's way more than enough.
Yeah, well, I got rained out. What happened was I was going to do a century no matter what, but I got rained out a couple days this week and didn't feel like going on the trainer, so I was like, I'll just do a couple extra miles on the century, and because I wanted to get to 200 miles this week. And, so I had to go a bit further, and it was pretty brutal because at one point, like the hottest point of the day, I think it got to like 100 or 102, I think it said on my Garmin. So I was like, okay, this was a bad idea at that point.
As we're already 100 miles in, this was a terrible idea. I don't know what we're thinking here.
Yeah, the extra 15, we were going to do, the route we planned was 124 miles. And we cut the last 9 miles out of it because me and my buddy, we were just like so over it. We were dying from the heat at the end. Our bodies could not, keep the temperature down.
Sounds terrible. Sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I enjoy it for whatever reason. It keeps me in shape. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life right now. So I can't complain too much.
Well, and that showed there at Southwick because you raced Southwick, having not raced in, a couple of years now? Is that it? Or did you race last year?
I did 2 nationals in 2022.
Okay.
But I won Mini-O's at the end of 2022. And then I raced Daytona Amateur Supercross. And then I literally barely touched a dirt bike for the rest of the year last year, and barely touched one this year until 3 weeks before Southwick.
That's
and
awesome.
Then I was like, okay, I'm going to train now.
Now, did you make it straight in, or did you have to go to the LCQ?
Straight in. We had that B practice, baby.
Oh, yes. Yes, and you didn't fail sound. Awesome.
Yeah, no, a KTM with a Krapovich, you're not failing sound. If they ever sound test a KTM with an Akrapovich, I will be shocked.
Interesting. Super interesting.
Because those things, they're so quiet. They're just insanely quiet.
Weird. Super weird. But
yeah, no.
That's awesome.
It was great. I made my mechanic from the factory moto lab. I sent him down there. I said, hey, because I heard that they were letting you out one by one again. They weren't just letting everyone go free for all into the first turn. So I sent him down there with my teammate. We did a little team thing for Southwick.
Okay.
Aaron Zielfelder. We sent both of our mechanics down there an hour early to the line. AMA wasn't even set up. They said that they were like, you guys are really early. And they were like, yeah, we know. Just to make sure that we got the first 2 gates to the inside so that we could go out 1 and 2, because we know how important it is to not get stuck behind a slower rider when the track is that smooth.
Yeah.
And it paid off. I think we were P3 and 4 in B practice.
Okay.
He was 3rd, I was 4th, and then he was 13th overall, and I was 15th overall. So we were stoked. We got in, and then we knew once we were in, we'd be fine in the races. So
yeah, Well, that's awesome, man. What'd you end up finishing? I don't even remember.
I went 27, 25.
Okay. All right.
And the first moto, I was a little bit upset with myself. You know, it'd been a couple years and I saw the blue flags were out. And so I'm looking behind, like checking to make sure that I'm not going to impede the lead race.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, the blue flags were out for 3 laps
Get
before I
out.
got lapped. I was like, is this a joke right now? Like, by the 3rd lap, I just stopped looking back. And then all of a sudden I hear friggin' Deegan Yamaha coming behind me. And I'm like, oh crap, I better get out of the way. And yeah, I was a little too generous getting lapped. And my times, the 2 laps where like it was like the top 8 guys who were pretty close together were all coming by. I sacrificed too much pace to let them go.
Yep.
And 2 guys ended up passing back by me. So I was a little upset with myself for that because I should have gotten 25th that moto.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's whatever. Nothing I can do about it now. So second moto, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be as nice when they're coming around to lap me. I was like, if they're gonna stay behind me for a corner or 2, then that's how it's gonna be. Just because Southwick, it was every single inside line blew into the outside, so there was one line around the whole entire track.
Oh man.
It was insane. So it was literally impossible to be a good lapper there because if you went outside, it either went off the track or you had to jump the berm at the exit of the corner. So it was definitely tough. There was only probably 3 or 4 corners on the track that you could actually get out of their way.
Interesting.
So yeah, second moto, much better. I was right next to the bomb air crash.
Oh, really?
For the red flag. Yeah, that happened right in front of me.
Oh, man.
So this kid, I think he was on a Husky or a Yamaha. I'm not too sure. He got like cross-rutted in that sweeping section up the face of that little like tabletop single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he went over the bars and his bike flipped left right into bomb air. And bomb air just had nowhere to go. Nothing he could do. And I actually didn't see bomb air get run over and that's actually what knocked him out. I thought that he got hit with the kid's bike and that's what knocked him out.
Yeah, I just saw that video yesterday of him getting run over.
I'm glad that he's somewhat okay from that.
Yeah, that was gnarly when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's bad.
And instantly when the red flag was out, I'm like, yep, something bad definitely happened during that crash.
So how does that...
Which was a bummer for myself because I actually had a somewhat decent start. Like, because I always start terribly at the Nationals. My best start ever would be probably like 30th.
Yeah.
And I think I crossed the finish line like 19th on the first lap.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I was like, damn, I'm like, that sucks. I was actually in a decent spot.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, first and foremost, you got to make sure that, you know, whoever's out there injured is okay. Yeah.
Now, when you see something like that and, you know, it happens right in front of you there, and obviously then you know, okay, red flag, so that was way gnarly. How does that affect your mental mindset there going back to the line? Like,
I mean, really, I'm fine because, like, I know that, like, I know what I signed up for. Like, shit's going to happen. It's more so I was just terrified of the first, like, 2 corners because it's so chaotic and it's sand, so you literally can't see a thing in front of you, and there's just people going everywhere, and you're just trying to, like, weasel your way through, like, little gaps, you know, if you don't get a good start.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, the restart, I did a lot worse of a job making it through the first couple corners. That first start, I was able to, like, pass probably, like, 8 or 9 guys pretty quickly. And I was like, wow, I I just did really good through there. Like I found openings that shouldn't have worked out, but they worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time around, those openings were not there. And if I tried something, I ended up getting hit. I actually have a tear on my seat cover because somebody's front tire somehow made it onto my seat in one of the corners.
Interesting.
And I almost went down, but somehow stayed up.
That's awesome. That is
I think whoever
awesome.
it was, they definitely must have went down.
They crashed.
Yeah.
Are we doing any more nationals?
Unadilla.
Ah, okay. You're driving in the middle of fucking nowhere. Got it. Cool.
Yep. Yep. I really, just because I love that track. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to qualify. I would love to, obviously. But that track is not necessarily my strong point because it's just deep, gnarly, long ruts. But
Yeah.
I do enjoy riding that track just because it's such a sick track. There's so much flow on that track and all the elevation, and it's a really, really cool place. I hope that they don't till it 2 feet deep.
Yeah.
Because it's not that fun when they do that. But if it's prepped nice, if they just till the corners and then leave the straightaways,
Yeah.
that track it's amazing to ride.
And no buds, huh?
No buds. I hate that track.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, not a fan of that place. I don't know why. I've never rode well there.
Interesting. Okay.
So I've just never enjoyed it.
So how
I would like to do Ironman, but I'm a lot more focused on bicycle racing, so you won't catch me there.
well, that's too bad because I like Ironman and we'll be there. It's close.
Yeah.
So it's in the budget. So
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little race action here from this season here. Let's get some thoughts on this. What do you think of this Deegan kid here?
I mean, he's crushing it. There's no other way to put it. Some of his interviews, I wouldn't say make me dislike him. I think because I've talked to him. I've gone and rode at their house before when I lived in California, and they're very nice people. Sometimes I just don't love the way he words things. I guess I would put it on the podium.
Okay.
I don't think he means basically to say some of the cocky things that he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Faulkner comment, for instance, when he got messed up at that race.
Okay.
And he said that, I guess he just can't take the pressure or whatever it was that he said on the podium.
Yep.
To me, I felt like that was just a little bit disrespectful to someone who just got seriously messed up to say. So I guess it's just some of those things of being young and just being in the moment too, I think is a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I mean, I've said a lot of dumb stuff in my life that I know I didn't mean and could have worded it better. And I still do. Like, it's all learning. And that's why I say I don't think he gets a lot of hate for that stuff. And I get it. I don't like it, but I totally get it because I think if you take a step back and you think about it, he's only, 17 years old?
Oh, no, he's 18. Don't get that
18?
wrong. Holy
Okay.
shit, now they're
18.
coming for you in the comments, so don't read the comments now.
Okay. I won't read the comments. But yeah, he's a nice kid. I think that maybe just he could think a little bit more on the podium. But I do love how honest he is. So it's kind of, you got to walk that fine line. Like, we want you to show your personality on there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would just say to think about just a little bit more respect for his competitors, I guess, is how I would word it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really the only downfall I see. I mean, he's an unbelievable competitor. He's a nice kid. He's been nice to me every time I've talked to him. I've seen him be nice to other people, so I don't think by any means that he's like some little asshole or anything like that. I think, yeah, I mean, he's right now he's showing that he can back up all the talk and all the people that have doubted him. Um, yeah, the I had the opportunity to ride with him at Southwick before the national, and for him to come out and do what he did there, I was like, whoa. I was not expecting that, because he was not like, he was pretty open and honest when he was riding there that he was having a tough time adjusting to the sand riding. And a couple of the locals there, and old timers, Keith Johnson, he gave him some pointers on just kind of what to do, and some good line choices and stuff like that usually develop at the national. And it was funny to see when I went back and watched the race that he was actually using those lines and doing the stuff that he was telling him. So I was like, wow, this kid is like, that's dedication right there. This kid, all he cares about is winning. Because, I mean, dude, Anstey was like, I think he was 3 seconds a lap faster than him when they were testing there.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, Anstey's going to go 1-1 at Southwick for sure. Like,
yeah,
no doubt in my mind. He's incredible in the sand. He always was in the GPs. And I'm like, yeah, Deegan will probably shoot for like a podium. And then he comes out and he's the first one to lap me. And when he lapped me, he had a pretty decent gap to the next guy that lapped me. And I was just like, wow, he is on the gas right now. And then I watched the race and I was just like, wow, this kid did a total 180 from when he was riding here, whatever it was, 2 weeks before. And he really, you could tell he just wants it. Like, that kid is a competitor. There's really no other way to put it. Every time that kid, the gate drops, he wants to win.
I think they're super smart with going and riding all these different places, going to Tomac's house, going and riding with Ken, obviously going to Southwick. They rode with the Reeds last week. Like, I just 100%. Think that they are just far and above better at figuring this out than everybody else on the line right now.
And if you do that, like, he just wants to learn.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing all this so that he can learn and become this well-rounded kind of do-it-all rider, because there's a lot of dudes out there that are good at hard-pack slick tracks, guys that are good at ruts but not good at sand, or guys that are good at sand and not good at hard-pack. So it's like, when he's doing all this, it's genius. Like, if you can do that, then why not do it? And a lot of these dudes should be able to do that. Like, it's not, sure, you might have to travel a little bit more, but he's doing it and it's working. So that might be some take note for some other guys, just because of his, I mean, it's dominance right now.
Yeah. So
I know he didn't win this weekend at Redbud, but I mean, other than that, he's been pretty unstoppable this year.
Now, do you think, I guess we'll go future headline here. Do you think he challenges Jett? Like, can he run with Jett when he gets to that point? Or
I don't know. I hate talking about that stuff this early on.
Yeah.
Like, it's too early for that. And the only drawback I have is that he's a very, like, aggressive, on the rev limiter, high RPM rider.
Okay.
and you cannot ride a 450 like that. The thing will just drive you into the ground.
Now, was he, because you obviously were racing with him, was he on the limiter as much at Southwick there? Because it didn't sound like it on TV, but I wasn't obviously there. So was he on that
I mean,
as much
when
as...
he went by me, he was wide open. So
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I was definitely not wide open through the section. He was going wide open. And I
Interesting.
was just like blown away. Like, how the hell did you just do that? Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know. I'm very impressed with him, though.
I mean, I want to be. Yeah, I'm very impressed with him as well. Like, he's definitely he's stepped up to the plate for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying we'll have to see. Like, a 450 is a big adjustment, and for most people, I think it suited Jett so well because he's always had that like low RPM, smooth, calm riding style. So I think that's why Jett was able to adjust so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, because I mean, it just he's obviously very good at adapting. If he went from, he was kind of struggling a little bit at Southwick 2 weeks before, and then he shows up and wins the race. So he can obviously adapt. So I would say it's gonna be a time will tell thing. Okay. I would say, but I would love to see him challenge Jett and Chase.
Okay. Now,
because I won't let. I'm so sick of this. Oh, will Deegan challenge Jett talk, and nobody ever includes Chase into the story. It's just mind blowing to me.
Well, so I take it then you didn't cry a little bit when the news came out that Jett was out? Because I sure did. I cried a lot. I had to cry myself to sleep that night.
I mean, I definitely didn't cry, but I was definitely bummed because I fully believe that Chase can beat him straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that don't think that that's possible. So I was just hoping so badly that he could have the chance to beat him this summer.
Yeah. And
it's like everyone was just like handing him the title when he doesn't even have the freaking red plate. Like, what is going on? Like, I know he went undefeated last year, but he's shown on plenty of occasions this year that he can be defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that is over now. So I don't know why they're still just giving him the title, just assuming that he's going to win.
I think Chase's struggles with the bike this year have exacerbated the people. That's probably not the right word. Anyway, has made people look at him and just be like, "Oh yeah, there's no way he can run with Jett." And I think Chase does have the speed, but I think one of my personal thoughts is that him and his dad struggle a bit with setting up the bike per se. There's a few things I've heard behind the scenes. There was a Darren Lawrence interview of him kind of talking about like, yeah, guys before us, like they didn't know how to set the bike up or whatever, basically directly referencing the Sextons. And again, I don't really know the Sextons on a personal basis or anything. I'm just going off things I hear here that I'm just like, okay, maybe they're not the best at getting a bike set up, which just is a weakness in their camp, I guess you would say, because I don't think it's speed and technique from him, because he definitely has the speed, and technique-wise, he's definitely really good. But I think there's just like that one little like half click with him that keeps him from really, I guess you'd say, directly challenging Jett every single week,
I would say I agree in Supercross. I think the bike was definitely a factor. I think that they were struggling it more than what they thought they were going to, going to a whole new bike and program and everything, and obviously a bike that there was a few people pretty vocal about how not good it was. So, but I think in outdoors, I feel like he's kind of been there every week, and he's been as fast as, if not faster than, Jett.
Yeah.
So I would say in outdoors, I think they're a lot closer to having that KTM dialed in. And I think it has gotten a lot better with the new frame this year versus last year's.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this question then. I'm running on a theory that if, and this is where people will come at me in the comments, if Jett doesn't wad himself at Hangtown there, I don't think we see Chase do the things he's done this year with winning as far as outdoors go. I don't think that second moto happens of the coming from last to first. I think all of this is kind of a direct reflection of the confidence he gained by winning that first moto at Hangtown, which then allowed him to have that ride of his life in the second moto at Hangtown, which has then allowed him to, we'll call it, stay closer up until the point that Jett obviously got hurt here. And that's just my personal take, is like, I think if Jett doesn't wad himself and he ends up winning that first moto at Hangtown, I think that continues to beat down Chase's confidence. Because as riders, even at the lowest level that I am, I know that, like, when I go race, I know I'm not going to do that well. So I'm just like, I'm kind of beat before I even get on the start line, essentially.
Yeah.
Which I know, losing as much as he did last year, and then you lose in Supercross, and then, you start, you go 3 or 4 motos in a row right at the beginning of the year, losing 2. I just think that, I think him winning there gave him a mental edge to be able to start doing what he's doing. Do you agree with that at all?
I don't know. I've never been a fan of the what ifs.
Okay.
I guess you should say.
Yeah.
Because all of that is irrelevant because it didn't happen.
Yep.
So everyone is entitled to their own opinion on that. I will agree with, he probably wouldn't have won the second moto had Jett not, like, let's say Chase wins the first moto, Jett stays up, doesn't hurt his shoulder or whatever, and he gets second behind Chase. And then they go out for the second moto. If Jett's out front and Chase is 40th going down, Chase is not catching Jett.
Okay.
He can catch everyone else like he did.
Yeah.
But there's no shot he's catching Jett. Jett will pull out 10, 20 seconds on the rest of the field and just cruise from there. Like, I don't think you're not coming from dead last to beat 100% healthy Jett.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't see that happening. I think Chase knows that would not be realistic at all.
Okay.
Unless Jett was having the worst day of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he's too good. He knows what he's doing. That's not happening if he's 100% and got second to Chase in the first moto.
Okay. All right.
Fair. I will agree with that.
Fair enough.
But all that's relevant because it didn't happen.
This is true. And now Jett's out. I saw him this weekend with his thumb wrapped up. He was standing on the side of the track, windmilling people on all day. Like, very sad. So who win? Who you got? No, who do you have for that title in 450s? Hunter or Chase?
Okay. I mean, come on.
All right. All right. Hey, look.
If it wasn't obvious enough already, I'm a Chase fan. Like, he's my buddy. I've known him for years. I've seen the stuff that he can do on and off the bike. He's just, there's nobody in better shape than him.
Okay.
Nobody.
All right. Fair enough.
He is in the best shape out of anyone on that gate anytime ever. And Hunter, he's clearly shown he's fast.
Yes.
He has the speed to run with Chase. I just don't think he has that pace for the whole moto.
Okay.
Like, where was it? Where was the moto that Hunter caught? Didn't he catch him past Jett, and he like started to pull away, or no? Maybe he just caught Jett.
Was it High Point?
Oh no, it was the first round. It was Paula.
Okay.
He caught Jett from behind, and I don't remember if he passed him or not, but he like fully caught up to him and then stayed right on him and was like borderline going to pass him, and then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes into the race, he just throws anchor out and finishes like, I think it was like 30 seconds back behind him and Sexton.
Yeah. Yep.
So, that to me, I think he has the speed. I think he just needs to learn how to harness it the whole moto rather than, just sprinting for like 3-4 laps and then being like, oh crap, this bike is beating the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to tone it down a little bit, rather than doing 5 205s, do 10 206s,
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Which, look at me giving advice, like, who am I?
Hey, we all do it. It's fine.
No, that's just, to me, I think Hunter still has some time to learn on the 450. And, just like this weekend, that crazy freaking crash, which I'm glad he was okay from that, because that was a wild ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he needs to a little bit more time to build that 450 fitness base, I guess I should say.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
I don't think he's out of shape by any means. I think he just needs some time to learn how to use his energy correctly on the 450.
Makes sense. Yeah. And he's, in my opinion, well, first off, he's my best friend. So like, that's cool. But, he's like the new age Diesel, of like, it takes him a while. Like we saw it in 250s of like, it took some years and a couple of injuries there before he really started getting stuff going. I'm actually wildly impressed with how good his season has been, especially with how, A1 started for him, this year. So I do think that as we progress through the next year or two here, we're going to really start to see him come into form and be a guy to run with Chase and Jett and those kind of guys right up at the front. So,
I think next year he's still a threat for the title right now, but I think next year I would say he'll be podium contender week in, week out.
Okay.
I don't know that I'll give him title threat in Supercross just yet, because in my opinion, he's always been a better outdoor rider.
Yep.
But yeah, I think outdoors next year, he's definitely going to be considered a contender.
Okay.
With hopefully everyone healthy all the way through.
Well, that's all we can ever hope for. So, but with not 9 whoops and no dragons backs, everybody's fine. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
All right, one more thing.
9 whoop thing's kind of dumb.
It's really stupid, but that's a whole nother hour of talking that we're not getting into. All right, one more thing for you here before I let you go. So a source told me back in the day, you used to ride every day with RJ and Kenny and AC and I don't know, there was a couple other guys on that list too. And I was told to ask you what that was like in those glory days there, because it sounds freaking awesome to me. So,
well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of just like what Deegan's been doing, riding with all the top dudes and learning from them. That's essentially what I was doing week in, week out. And there was a couple guys that were there for like a year or two here and there. Like Sexton was there my last 2 years that I was racing full time. Jeremy Martin was there. Christian Craig was there at points. There was a lot of guys. It was awesome. It was something I'm very grateful for, and that definitely helped me a lot in my short-lived professional career. and it was nice to be able to know that I was doing exactly what they were doing. And what I always struggled with was learning the tracks every week during Supercross.
Okay.
Is I could run, I think my best day ever, I was like 1.7 or something like that, or just under 2 seconds off of AC and RJ.
Okay.
Or actually, I think I might have been a little bit closer to RJ because AC was usually faster. Um, and then I'd go to the race and I'd be 5-6 seconds a lap off on Supercross, and I'm like, how do these guys learn the track that fast to be able to like scrub through these rhythms and hit all these lines perfectly? And it was something I always struggled with, was I just could never convert my weekly practices to, convert that to race speed.
Now, I assume that you probably ask, like, hey, how do you guys learn this so fast? What did anybody have anything of substance they'd tell you, or they were just always like,
No,
I don't know?
no, they all like didn't really know how to answer, because they were just like, it's just like something that they like, to them, they just go out there and they ride, and it comes to them. So it's like, it's just one of those things where I think it was more so a little bit of the pressure.
Okay.
I think for me,
Okay.
just to where where it was like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than now, I'm just like, whenever I do a pro national or just doing any sort of racing, I'm like, I want to do this.
Okay.
So it's just a different kind of an attitude change, and I think that that's what's helped me just alleviate some pressure. And I wish that stuff I would have known back then.
Now, do you think, because I was talking to somebody this weekend, and they were basically like, because Kevin Moran's came back and raced this weekend, and whoever I was talking to, they were like, dude, the kid's got all the skills in the world on a bike, just like all these other guys. Literally, the difference between like him and Chase is like, Chase twists that throttle and rides a gear higher, just that much more. Like, do you feel, as an actual pro who ran nationals and supercrosses and stuff, is that something that you feel like let's just even go on the motocross side of things, on the outdoor side of things, is that just something you feel is like the difference between, like, say you and a Ken Roxon or you and an AC, is like they just twist that throttle and shift one more gear than you do on a track? Or
Yeah, I mean, that's really all it is to it. Like, you just have to go faster.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there's not, like, if we did corner segments and we would time corners, it was like, I'd only be like a 10th off or something like that. But then the second you come into like a super high speed sweeper that's like all whooped out and rough and like sketchy, and then through that segment I'll lose like 2 seconds. And it's just like their willingness to send it that little bit more and that little bit harder is the real difference. Because even when I was riding with the Star guys and watching Anstey and Deegan and all them, and I believe I was 4 seconds off of Deegan and I was 7 off of Anstey that day.
Okay.
And I'm just like watching them, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no way. Like, I don't want to go any faster than what I am going, because I feel like I'm on the edge of crashing, and they're showing me that I can go way faster and still not crash. But it's just one of those things that I'm not willing to risk. And that's why I am where I am and they are where they are. Like, that's all it is to it. I think it also comes down to how your brain can process things. That's a lot of the reason why I've felt like I'm on the edge, and I've heard top guys talk about or not necessarily in moto, but like I've seen like interviews on YouTube and stuff of just top athletes saying how when they're at their peak that it almost feels like they're doing everything in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
But you're obviously like things are coming at you slower. But for me, when I try and send it and go as fast as they are through a section, everything's just racing by me, and I literally feel like I could die at any second.
Yep.
And so it's just like, how do you get to that point where it slows down for you? And that was something that I was never willing to push past, I guess. I made small strides. I mean, believe me, if you would have seen me as an amateur, you would have never thought that I could qualify for a national or make a main event in my life. But I did. I qualified for, I don't even know, I probably qualified for at least 10 nationals now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more. And I made a main event, scored points. That was my ultimate goal. And I did that in Supercross. So it was like where I started at compared to these dudes and where I finished I was very, very happy with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just that's the thing that I would say stops me and a lot of these other dudes from getting to their level is just that willingness to, you just got to send it for a while and get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I joke all the time because I've been on a track with Kev in both Supercross and motocross stuff, and the speed he goes by me, I'm just like, holy shit. And mind you, I'm a shitty sea rider. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm a shitty old sea rider, right? But then to think about like, okay, cool, someone like a Danger Boy, a Sexton, or something like that is like 7 seconds a lap farther up the road than they are. I'm just like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, my brain can't process how fucking fast that is. Like, it's just ridiculous to think about. Like, I mean, you can't even process it. You're just literally going off muscle memory, I would have to say. And it just, yeah, it just blows my mind. And I'm like you, like, I'll probably never twist the throttle. I could ride every day and never twist the throttle as hard as you do, let alone those guys. Like, there's just no way. There's just zero chance. I'm of that age crazy now that I'm just like, dude, my brain is like, if you do that, all you're going to do is fucking die. And that's not going to be fun for anybody. So don't do that. Don't be stupid. And yeah, so I don't know, man. All right. I really appreciate you doing this, Eric.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Rattle off the Alias website again.
Yeah. aliasmx.com. And you can find us on Instagram too at aliasmx.
Cool.
And yeah, check us out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. No, I looking at the stuff, I like it. I'll have to order some here. I'll try to get the right size this time, so I don't have to be like, "Hey man, you got any other sizes?" But yeah, we'll maybe we can have you on after Unadilla there. We can chat some more, buddy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks for doing this, man. We'll talk soon, buddy.
All right, sounds good.